If you're a real estate team or brokerage that's focused on the luxury side, or you'd like to attract more luxury listings, then this video is for you. This video is going to go all about how to attract luxury listings using YouTube ads for you and your team. Now, just to give you an idea, these are some of the real listings and appointments that we generated with the partners that we bring on, the boutique brokerages and teams, just to give you an idea of some of the things that we're able to get done with our fully end-to-end YouTube ads system. Now, the first things first, before getting into more of the tactical advice here, it's really important to remember that luxury homeowners are still just people. I think a lot of teams and brokerages and people that I speak to, they obviously have a certain kind of image of what a luxury homeowner is, but it's really important to know at a baseline, it's important to remember that all homes from low end to luxury and their respective homeowners face similar problems, questions, fears, and frustrations, right? They're asking questions like, am I getting the best price for my home? Do I accept this offer or wait for a better one? Is it worth it to replace the kitchen countertops? Is that going to add enough value? So yes, there are specific platforms and advertising strategies that do speak to the higher end of the market. But the most important thing that I want you to remember as you're watching this is that human psychology is just that. It's human psychology. It's not going to change, and it really never will. We haven't evolved fast enough to the point where there's really an enormous difference, albeit there will be some tactical things for sure as we go along. But just wanted to quickly kind of preface this video by saying this because at the end of the day, homeowners are homeowners, luxury, low end, mid tier. Everyone has similar problems. It's more about the magnitude of those problems and how to communicate them in a very specific way. So the most tactical point, and before getting into the nitty gritty of the ad messaging and the targeting and the and the funnels and all that stuff, is you want to go where luxury homeowners hang out and consume content. And we're looking at a context of being online. Obviously, when you think of a typical homeowner, again, looking at the image of it, you could think of them, having a golf membership or doing a certain kind of sport or hanging out at a specific kind of restaurant or part of town. But when we look online, one of the most interesting things that we see, and which is the reason why we specialize and really are a big proponent of running YouTube ads, is that YouTube by nature actually reaches the wealthiest, the oldest, and the most committed audience. These are just some stats that I was able to basically pull and compile just to give a few highlights here. The percentage of $100,000 plus in household income adults who use the platform, it's 89%. And the combination of that plus the fact that 64% of the age group reaches those 65 plus means that it's really ripe for those people who, for example, they're downsizing. They've owned their property for 20 plus years. It's fully paid off. And a lot of these homes are going to be above average in market value and sometimes much more, of course, depending on the market that you're serving and what kind of areas and demographics we're targeting. But again, if we're going to be running ads anywhere and we're going to be putting money into something that's going to generate more flow and more appointments on the luxury side, might as well go to the place where you're most likely going to find them. And YouTube is the place to be, especially compared to Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and I wasn't here, but also TikTok as well. YouTube is the absolute king in this regard. Now, going into more of the specifics here, right? Understanding, and you want to understand what luxury homeowners value the most, right? You don't need me to tell you that homeowners at higher price points, and again, all homeowners, but especially ones who are on the luxury side, higher price points, are constantly getting bombarded with cold calls, door knocks, flyers, not to mention like the amount of AI ads, the antitrust, the mass market kind of used car salesman strategies. It's a complete mess. And especially going back to the platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the barrier to entry is so low to run ads there and to basically just copy what everyone else is doing. It's extremely difficult to stand out. And the one thing that I'll always say is that, for example, somebody would tell me, that's cool, but that doesn't mean that a multi-million-dollar homeowner, it's not like they're immune to scrolling on Instagram or going on Facebook and all these platforms. And to that I say, absolutely, they're not immune to consumption, but typically this isn't going to be the place where they're going to be finding the realtor, the individual who's going to be selling their home and making probably one of the most important, if not the most important, decisions of their life. And so it's really important to keep that in mind. And again, the reason why YouTube is so powerful is because it's more intentful. People go there to get entertained, but also to gain value, which is really in line with what luxury homeowners value, right? There's really two things. Getting real insights and feeling genuinely heard and understood. Getting insights is obviously giving information, giving relevant, specific, and useful information. Feeling genuinely heard and understood comes in the messaging, in the right way of running the ads and kind of right way of doing the copy and the landing page. There's a right and wrong way to approach this though, and we'll talk about that more in the next section. Just a tip on this though, a lot of times, it can be easy to try to reinvent things and kind of reinvent offers and lead magnets and approaches just to cater towards the luxury side. Of course, that can work, but especially if you're just wanting to get into that space initially, or you want to expand or kind of pivot your current approach from more mass market to the luxury side, a lot of that is really just about positioning your messaging appropriately versus reinventing brand new offers. For example, probably if you've scrolled over on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see a lot of ads that are like big red text, very headline attention grabbing clickbait that are saying things like instant home evaluation, just punch in your address, right? That attracts a certain kind of homeowner and a certain kind of mass market approach versus a messaging or a scripting in a video that's, hey, we're going to prepare a custom home evaluation based on real-time local sales, current trends, your unique property features. And no, this isn't going to be some generic online estimate. And, everyone knows those are rarely accurate. So you can kind of intuitively understand what's going to land better with the luxury homeowner. Is it going to be the one that's generic? Is it going to be the one that's instant, almost feels too good to be true, a little bit scammy, a little bit bait and switch, versus the one that's super honest? It's actually more valuable because it's going to be a more accurate number at the end of the day with the end product. And more importantly, it's just way more insightful and adding more value to a homeowner as opposed to, again, an instant valuation, which anybody can just punch in their information online. For so many online tools, even Zillow with their own estimates. So keep that in mind. And that really goes into our last point. Make sure that your messaging, ads, creatives, your funnels, your lead magnets, everything is congruent with the higher end feel. So I know I mentioned at the beginning that luxury homeowners are still homeowners at the end of the day. That doesn't mean that there are specific ways that we can message and tweak our ads and our copy to tailor to them specifically. And it really goes down to the main concepts of, with most teams and brokers and marketers, they tend to use the same old generic, ads, copies, and funnels that worked, in 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Really, it seems obvious, but the advice that I really have seen work well and what we're seeing work well when we're looking to attract more of the higher end market is just avoiding like the cheesy edits, scripting that creates over the top urgency and scarcity, the kind of messaging that's like, do not sell your home before doing this. It's really, it doesn't land well, especially when we're looking at not only the luxury high-end side, but also when you look in the overall marketing scene. Again, with so much antitrust and a lack of genuine information out there, it's challenging to stand out with that type of thing. And again, it's going to attract a certain kind of demographic and a certain type of homeowner. It's simple. Lead in with value and genuinely look to create insights. And that was the piece that wasn't added here. And when you do that and then sprinkle in the marketing magic, that's when you're able to have that perfect storm where you're still hooking people in, again, sprinkling a little bit of that, but you're leaving people with genuine value. And then that way, when you have that call with them, when you go on the appointment, when you get the listing signed, the whole process is building two things: trust and value. Those are the two things you want to consistently be building. And that starts from the first message and the first video that they see, or the image, in this case video with a YouTube ad, all the way from the last conversation that I have right up to signing the listing agreement. When we're looking at lead magnets and offers, Avoid the canned seller guides, and this is even genuine and good advice for running quote unquote more mass market campaigns. But you want to lead in with more impactful, specific things. Like for example, the 5 home improvements to add between 5 and 10% of value to your property before listing it. Very specific things. How to avoid consistent open house on a weekly basis. How to actually remove all that kind of friction for potential buyers there. You want to, again, create genuine insights and lead in with value. And as mentioned before, repositioning and leaning towards, custom, tailored, personalized, specific outcomes and approaches can really be the way to go. Quick note on landing pages and funnels as we kind of wrap this thing up. If you are in marketing, you may have heard of the whole click funnels and that kind of style of landing pages, the ones with big bold text and jumping boxes, hard crotch accent colors. Right, it's kind of like these ones, right? This is just a random example that I pulled from the internet where, again, big bold letters, and the thing is, the key, the distinction I want to say is that it's not that these kinds of funnels don't work to bring in leads. It's just that the perception is so important, especially when you're looking at the higher end side. So when we're working with a team in a brokerage, we're very cognizant of that because, again, they have a brand, they have a reputation that they want to protect. And of course, they have a lot of brand congruency, which, frankly, not many marketers are able to really deal with because, again, it's really generic and they're not able to, customize things for every single brokerage and agent. The last thing I'll say is that AI has made it extremely simple to create sleek and clean landing pages based on your branding and style, while also being a highly effective conversion engine. I would definitely check out, using tools like Claude and Lovable, these kinds of things to really create great messaging, great tweaking, and I'll definitely make some more videos if you're interested about how to design a landing page and a funnel based on like higher end luxury site, but also just in general, how to create more highly effective converting landing pages for your advertising. That is it for this video. If you are a boutique brokerage team looking to bring on more listing appointments for you and your team, click the link down below. Would love to have a conversation with you, and we'll speak very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.